Ebuja say ya dance na go abontene. Empepi say meti saman forecast an when ya Mahama betina kunya so no there is no corruption scandal ya na aye mesene. Ebuja say think of we po ma dwen efa henefa. Homo dwen efa hene. Say am legacy no. MIIF CEO eye Minerals Income Investment Fund. CEO na oda no Mahama ya appointed no January 2025 you know. Corruption scandal bi akoso e wo na so ye. Ama eto apeja. Mema nchire mu no akire wa dwen ama me. Ewo comment section. I Penyah Block Media. Mess was any demo. Obe like video, not that my subscribe buttons, number click notification icon for latest updates. Now better the wide and the mama. Ewo comment section. Let us about one for so be ashe. And you know, yeah, February 7th December 2024. Our NDC government every year, exactly January. Anna Mahama is to the president John Mahama or appointed Justina Nelson as the acting CEO of Minerals Income Investment Fund. I caso FN MIIF Ghana. Our time say as a state-owned investment fund, MIIF is entirely focused on building and securing Ghana's future through investment using income from the minerals wealth of Ghana. Now say, you know, as a simu adodode anyankopon o trading upon edadom Ghana no ye minerals na we Ghana ha no mo no. Omo time say ye ton a sika bi enya no so faso bi dada so nya de o be siebu bi ede ama Ghana se bi adache kwa ho yehia mu a na ye pesika bi de aso ya sene kakra ye benya sika bi na ka ye de aso ya sene ede djuma ama ede aboa oman konkon Ghana eno omu ejumadi etire nipa wote so ne ye friend Edward na ya krantin ono ana under MPP government na ono eno ye CEO but Mahama ba ye no eno osesan no January 2025 etiye January mo ana Mahama esesan abeka ya in February exactly 12 February 2025 ana Ghana Crimes omu ye post bi ewo Twitter and as currently X eno mo kire say the office of the special prosecutor has opened an investigation into alleged corruption at the Minerals Income Investment Fund. The probe covers transactions linked to Ejapa royalties, lithium exploration, and quarry investment. Now say the moment about Ejapa royalties, and I say you can find MPP government. Now say OSP. Like say corruption be so. Arbana Edward Nanaya Krantin, ho as CEO no. Corruptions can be so bobo sectors ni be Ejapa royalties, lithium exploration, and quarry investment. It no or carry out investigation. Or make it that post no. Adia tin ye. Eno mu say make another post. Eno mu kire mu say just last week, Tio. Just last week, 1.5 billion new Ghana cedis. Is what it's kind of 15 trillion old Ghana cedis. Just that's the canon. You transfer every MIIF account to mu at various banks, namely Consolidated Fund, Consolidated Bank, Access Bank, Fidelity Bank, and Zenith Bank, where the new CEO, Justina Nelson, used to work until her appointment in January this year. $10 million was paid to BH Minerals, owned by Apia Yausen, who has been linked to the opposition New Patriotic Party and galamsey activities in the country. Not as a post way now, Ghana Crimes na. I can boldly tell you it has no connection to MPP. Imagine say, you 12 January, you 12 February, 12 February that time. Na January, I didn't give you appointment to new, CEO. Anna yabedru February, because I didn't give appointment to new CEO in January. Anna yabedru February 12th. Anna Ghana Crimes Eka say even last week, in 7 days free, they were talking about 5th February. 5th February, and I'm saying say $10 million. You're moving from that account anymore. 1.5 billion new Ghana cedis. You're moving from that bank account anymore. Why na ye in charge that time? Na ye acting CEO Justina Nelson. They have an appointment on no that so under her watch. And I says the car when no ye transfer. And the banks here na madam no maame no Justina Nelson or ye adwuma ho no no. E ho that bank ni mu and transfer sikan e free ye. What you say? Not just say, and no crab serious corruption, early corruption under Mahama, but a honor. Ghana for were not interested to learn more about this issue. Ghana for anya hu dede o wan kasa na busia mako pie video bi so interview na corruption scandal bi as at now so under the watch of the new CEO Justina Nelson appointed by Mahama to Ghana MIIF no enye easy yengo tie nkomo no.
Okay, cool. So let me establish first of all that whatever I'm going to say is not an expression of my personal opinion, but it is my analysis of the situation.
Okay.
So first of all, the current MIIF CEO, Justina Nelson, was appointed to office on the 14th of January, 2025. So you need to keep that date in mind. It was one of the very earliest appointments of President Mahama when he became president. On the 3rd of June, 2025, the Minerals Income and Investment Fund got its board duly constituted. It's a 9-member board. So January 14th, CEO, 3rd June, board of directors. All right. Then on the 26th of June, so about 23 days after the board was constituted, MIIF's 2024 audit report was signed off by the CEO, who was appointed on 14th January, and by the board, which was appointed on the 3rd of June, 2025. On the 27th of June, 2025, the Auditor General signed off the 2024 audit report of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund. So you check the dates. CEO appointment, 14th January. Board of Directors, 3rd June.
3rd June, yes.
Sign off of the audit report by the CEO and the board.
That's 26th June. Yeah.
Sign off of the audit report by Auditor General, 27th June.
That's the following day.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this process is done. What it means is that the audit report of Minerals Income and Investment Fund was ready for publication after the sign-off of the Auditor General.
Yeah.
Of course, subject to the Minerals Income and Investment Fund Act, which is Act 978, particularly Section 36(4) of that Act. All right. So from 27th of June till 26th of September, this audit report had not been published. In fact, as we speak today, it has still not been published. But an RTI request, a right to information request, was sent to the Office of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund Office on 26th of September 2025. It was an RTI request. Okay. And this RTI request was essentially asking for various information or various stuff. It was about a 10-point request.
Okay.
That was sent by a former member of the MIIF board. So, because I don't want to bore you with so many details and take so much of your time, this RTI request was sent on 26th September 2025.
26th September.
Yes, 26th of September.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And it was addressed to the information officer, care of Chief Executive Officer, Minerals Income and Investment Fund. The address is there. Request for information pursuant to the Right to Information Act 2019, Act 989. And the applicant in this particular RTI listed 10 things he wanted. One, he wanted information as to whether the financial statement of MIIF for the year ending 2024 had been audited, and if so, by who? Have the audited financial statement for 2024 been signed by the auditor? If so, what is the date of the signature?
Right.
Have the audited financial statement for 2024 been approved by the current board of MIIF? If so, kindly provide a copy of the approval. Have the audit financial statement for 2024 been signed by the board chairman and the chief executive officer? If so, what are the dates of signature? What was the total revenue of MIIF in 2024 audit report? What was the gross profit of MIIF in 2024 audit report? So the 10 points goes on and on and on.
Right.
So this was submitted on 26th of September 2025.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
But first, let me ask you, based on the documents you have chanced on, how different are MIIF's internally prepared financials from the Auditor General's final audit?
Okay, so MIIF is the organization that prepares the financials.
Yes.
And then will send it to the Auditor General for the Auditor General to sign it off.
Okay.
So Auditor General does not prepare MIIF's finances for them.
Okay.
So that's why that is why the dates that we have chosen, the dates I started with, are important. They are important because, of course, there was a change of government. There was a change of CEO. And so the former CEO, Edward Nanaya Okrante, left office, obviously, before 14th January 2025. So he, as CEO, could not, even if they had started preparing the financials before he left, he couldn't have completed it.
Okay.
So it was the current CEO who came to complete it. That is the reason why it was the current CEO who signed it off together with the board chair on the 26th of June.
How then is she going back to the Auditor General after signing it off?
So that is what we have to unravel, because once you sign it off again to Auditor General does its work and also signs it off. It comes back to you.
Yes.
And once it comes back to you, per the MIIF Act, Section 36(4) of the MIIF Act, together with the board, you are supposed to sign it off and then release it. But I think that the MIIF CEO considers that provision as necessarily having approval of the board. So, for example, let me tell you, after all these RTI requests on the 26th and all that, MIIF on the 15th of October responded to the RTI request, as it were, providing an answer to the one who made the RTI request. So this letter is from MIIF. It is dated 15th October, and it is addressed to the one who made the RTI application. So, and it is signed by Justina Nelson, CEO of Minerals Income and Investment Fund. So he says that Minerals Income and Investment Fund acknowledges receipt of your letter dated 26th of September 2025 and September 29th, 2025. So the applicant sent the first letter on 26th and followed up with another letter on 29th, requesting a complete copy of the audit financial statement of MIIF for the year ending 2024. So this letter reduced the applicant's request to only one, even though the applicant had 10 different requests. This letter only stated that you requested for a copy of the audited financial statement of MIIF for the year ending 2024. This was only one of the RTI requests that was sent. Then the letter goes on to say that we also acknowledge receipt of your follow-up letter dated 14th of October and apologize for the inadvertent delay in responding to your letter. So the applicant, after the delay between 26th September and 14th of October, which was the 14 days that are statutorily required for RTI responses to be made, the applicant followed up with another letter on 14th of October. So it was after this 14th October letter that MIIF decided to respond. And this was their response. We appreciate your interest in ensuring transparency and accountability in the operations of MIIF. Kindly note that the fund is yet to publish the 2024 audited financial statement, which shall be done once the board grants approval for publication in strict adherence to Section 36(4) of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund Act 2018, Act 798 as amended. Accordingly, the said financial statement shall be made available to you immediately upon its publication in compliance with the Act. Now, this is the response of the MIIF CEO to the RTI request, which was sent on 26th September, a follow-up on 29th, and another follow-up on 14th of October. And this response was on 15th of October. So notice, from 26th June or 27th June, when the Auditor General signed off the MIIF 2024 audited financials, till the 15th of October, when MIIF CEO was responding to this letter, he acknowledges that the audit report has not been released and that she was waiting for the board to grant approval for the audit report to be released.
Right.
But it gets interesting after this day. And the reason why it gets interesting after this day is because after these exchanges, the MIIF CEO wrote to the Auditor General, and the Auditor General's the letter that the MIIF CEO wrote to the Auditor General, we believe is dated. It's dated 31st October.
Oh, okay.
2025.
So that's months after the audit was signed and after MIIF refused the RTI request. That was when she wrote to the Auditor General asking for a reinstatement of the signed financials, right?
Yes. So
okay.
So notice that the final date we have worked with right now was 15th of October. Which was when MIIF wrote to the requester of the RTI, the one who requested for the RTI, made the RTI request.
Great.
Now, on the 31st of October, MIIF is on record to have written to the Auditor General.
Right.
And we know this because the Auditor General responded to the letter of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund CEO, and they responded to it on the 12th of November. But before the 12th of November response by the Auditor General, the Auditor General, as a follow-up to the 31st of October request, had a meeting with the MIIF CEO and MIIF officials on the 7th of November. So get the dates right. 31st of October, MIIF writes to Auditor General.
Then 12th November.
7th of November,
7th.
Auditor General goes to have a meeting with MIIF.
Okay.
On the 12th of November, Auditor General responds to the letter of MIIF, which was dated 31st October. And this is where the contention is. So, the Auditor General's letter of the 12th of November is addressed the Chief Executive Officer, Minerals Income and Investment Fund, and is entitled RE, that is reference to Request for Review and Statement of the 2024 Audited Financial Statement. So, the MIIF CEO on the 31st of October writes to the Auditor General that she wants the MIIF CEO wants a review and restatement of the 2024 audited financial statement.
Okay. And what was her claim?
So the Auditor General's response is what gives us the evidence of what the MIIF CEO was looking for, because we don't have the benefit of the MIIF CEO's letter.
Okay.
But the Auditor General is responding to what the MIIF CEO requested for.
Okay.
So he says that we refer, this is Auditor General, We refer to your letter dated 31st October on the above subject, which outlined the issues discussed during our meeting with your team on 7th November 2025 concerning matters you consider material and pervasive to MIIF's 2024 financial statements. 2, we appreciate the opportunity granted us to engage with you on these matters. However, we respectively maintain our position that the issues discussed do not constitute material or pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. So this statement that is being made by the Auditor General's letter is literally saying that the MIIF CEO, when you wrote to the Auditor General, indicated to Auditor General that the audit report which has been submitted by MIIF under the hand of the same CEO and has been signed off by the Auditor General, the MIIF CEO is now saying that the audited report constituted or contained material or pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. The Auditor General is saying that I reject this your assessment. Okay.
Right.
Then the Auditor General goes on and talks about various things that were raised, which we will not talk about. Investments in Ejapa, gold trading investments and transactions, budget versus actuals, dividend receivable and impairments, exchange gained, recognized, and all that. So the Auditor General comes now to say that 6, our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether financial statements are a whole or free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an audited report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it does not guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with the fundamental auditing principles of the international standards on supreme audit institutions will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. 7, it is therefore improper to present the alleged misstatements as if the auditors prepared the 2024 financial statements of the fund. So the Auditor General is saying that the way the MIIF CEO is talking, she's talking as if it was the Auditor General's department that prepared the financials. The Auditor General is saying that we did not prepare the financials. It was your office that prepared the financials and brought it to us to audit. So he goes on to conclude that we wish to reiterate our opinion contained in our report on the 2024 financial statement. We are, however, willing to cooperate with management.
Hello? Okay, there's a little... Okay.
Financial statements or financial audits. Are we on?
Yeah, we are on now. We went off a little.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
So you see. So let me wrap this thing up.
Okay. Then I'll ask. Then wrap it up. I'll ask a few. I'll ask a few questions.
Letter. Yeah.
Yeah. You wrap up. I'll ask a few questions. Then we
yes,
can conclude.
I'm listening.
Okay. So have you seen or have you had any evidence? Okay. That supports MIIF's claims of material misstatement, or does the other report contradict that?
Okay, so I will not be privy to that information, but it is the MIIF CEO's responsibility as the Chief Executive Officer. If she thinks that the audited report has pervasive misstatements that could mislead readers, then it is her duty to supply that information to the Auditor General for the Auditor General to look at it. Okay. But you cannot go to the Auditor General just stating that you think that the audited report has pervasive and misstatements. That alone is not sufficient. You need to provide evidence to the Auditor General. So the Auditor General's letter and response to MIIF is essentially pointing out to the MIIF CEO that you cannot come to us after we have done our work with empty words and think that with your empty words, we will review the work that we have done. We did our work based on international standards. So if you think that something has not been done right, then you need to provide adequate evidence to show that something has not been done right before the Auditor General will give audience to you and even attempt to even make any changes. But just coming with mere words and saying that in your opinion, you think that the audited report has information that will mislead readers if they read it the way it has been prepared. It's not sufficient. So when this was investigated, a media house decided to write to MIIF and to get confirmation from MIIF whether or not, first of all, this Auditor General's response is even true, and whether or not MIIF has had a meeting with the Auditor General officers, and whether or not MIIF has made an attempt to get the audited reports rewritten. So we wrote, the media house wrote to MIIF on the 28th of November. And that letter was addressed to the Chief Executive Officer. It was delivered by hand and by email. It provides the email of the MIIF CEO, justina.nelson@miif.gov.gh, and a second officer, louisa.kweku@miif.gov.gh. And it was request for comments ahead of publication. So this was the request that was made. Our investigations has established the following information. One, that MIIF's audited financial statement for the year ending 2024 were completed and duly signed off by the board chairman and chief executive officer of MIIF on 26th June 2025 and by the Auditor General on 27th June 2025. That was the first inquiry. The second was that by a letter dated 31st October, MIIF formally requested a review and restatement of the 2024 audit financial statement, stating that the statement contained material and pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. 3, that MIIF subsequently met with officials of the Ghana Audit Service on 7th November 2025 to discuss the above request. 4, that the Audit Service, during the said engagement, vehemently disagreed with MIIF's assertion that the audited financial statement contained material or pervasive misstatements. 5, that in a letter dated 12 November and received by MIIF on 13th November, the Audit Service reiterated its position unequivocally, stating that the issues discussed do not constitute material or pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. The Audit Service further stated that MIIF's use of the word pervasive was inherently misleading. And then 6, that the Audit Service described MIIF's request and conduct relating to the attempted review and restatement of the audited financial statement as improper, as if the auditors prepared the financial statement of MIIF. So notice, this inquiry by the media house is dated 28th November 2025. Then MIIF responded. Then MIIF responded to this media house request. And MIIF's response is dated 1st December 2025. So inquiry 28th November.
Which is the
MIIF response 1st December. It is addressed, the managing editor, the source. And then it says that reference, RE, request for comment ahead of publication. So MIIF says that we refer to your letter dated 28th November on the above mentioned subject matter and respond as follows. 1, we confirm point 1 and 2 of your letter dated 28th November 20. They even said 2028, but it's not 2028, it's 2025. So 28th November 2025 instead of 2028. We are not in 2028 yet. And then 2, in respect of point 3 and point 4, we can confirm that officers of MIIF met with officers of the Ghana Audit Service. However, we are unable to disclose the discussions had during those meetings, as same is confidential. So this portion of MIIF's response was funny, because our letter to you was telling you what the discussions were when you met. So when you are responding and confirming that yes, there was a meeting, and you tell us that what was discussed was confidential, we have already told you what was discussed, and you have confirmed that yes, there was a meeting. Okay. Then, as regard point 5, we can confirm MIIF received a letter dated 12 November 2025 from the Ghana Audit Service. However, we are unable to disclose the content of the letter, as same is confidential. We already have a copy of the letter. We disclosed to you the content of the letter, and we're seeking to confirm. You said yes, there was a letter like that received, but you can't confirm the details to us. We have already confirmed the details of the letter to you in our request. So I can go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
But the point really is that the MIIF CEO decided that after signing off the audit report and sending it to the Auditor General, and the Auditor General signing off and bringing it back, she decides that some of the content of the audited report may be favorable to some people, maybe people who were working there in the past, in terms of the success of MIIF or in terms of the figures and the profits. So she decides that in her words, she thinks that they may be misleading to people who will read the report. And so goes to the Auditor General and tries to get the Auditor General to rewrite those portions that she considers as problematic. The Auditor General rejects the request to rewrite what the CEO thinks are problematic. But the problem really is the fact that as a chief executive officer of a state-owned institution, such as MIIF, does that chief executive have the wherewithal to go to the Auditor General and ask the Auditor General to make amendments to an already audited and signed off report? That's the question that everybody should be asking.
It makes me want to ask you whether in all of your investigations around this, whether you have identified any political motivations influencing either the accusations against the former MIIF leadership or the pushback from the audit service, and then whether there are signs that the presidency or key political actors are attempting to manage the fallout.
Okay, so this is what we know. What we know is that
Tell us.
The special prosecutor indicates that he's investigating the former board chairman of MIIF and the former CEO of MIIF. As we know now, we read stories of the fact that they were arrested by the special prosecutor and their passports confiscated and all that kind of stuff. So we know that former chief executive officer and former board chair are under investigations. One of the important things that they are looking at is MIIF's financial performance under the year under review, which is 2024. So you by correlation, or you can just add one to the other and say that, okay, if you are refusing to release the 2024 report, which essentially doesn't reflect anything about the current MIIF CEO's tenure in office. It reflects the tenure of office of the former chief executive officer and the former board. The new CEO came to office on 14 January. Anything that happened in 2024 does not concern her. But the lot fell on her to transmit the 2024 report to the Auditor General, for the Auditor General to sign it off and then retransmit it to them. So if you are trying everything not to release it, and then you are now even making attempts to get it amended by the Auditor General, then it only stands to reason that somebody will say that, who are you trying to implicate? Because an audit report has been prepared and it has been signed off. ready for public consumption. You now go back to the auditor and say that you think that there are some things that are pervasive and misstatements, and that it could mislead people who read the audited report if it is released. But you don't provide any evidence to support that claim. The Auditor General says that what you have said, what you are saying is empty. There's nothing to it, and that it stands by its audited report. And that if anything at all, let's look forward to 2025 report. When you are preparing your report, then we can introduce any other thing that you think needs to be introduced. But for this report, it is signed off, it is perfect, it is accurate. We have no intentions of making any changes to it. So the question back again, why would a chief executive officer of a state institution, after the Auditor General has done its work, go to the Auditor General and have the audacity to tell the Auditor General that I think that the work you have done, there is some misleading and pervasive content, and so I'm asking you to review it. By what authority? By what authority? And that is the question everybody is asking. And the chief executive officer is going through rented press and telling the whole country that somebody is trying to or somebody is doing a smear campaign against him, against her. There is no smear campaign. It is her actions and inactions that are being reviewed. That is all. That you wrote to the Auditor General to change an audited report. By what authority? And you said this is a smear campaign. Nobody wants to smear you. Nobody is even interested in smearing you. Everybody is just interested in your actions and inactions. Because if you can do this, then everybody is now asking, what are you not capable of doing as far as your own report is concerned? Because this is a report that concerns others. And you are willing to go down the line to say that the Auditor General, after doing its work, should change and rewrite the report. Then what about reports that will concern you yourself? What would you do?
Well, they are, in fact, MIIF, with the claims that paid publishers are running a coordinated smear campaign, is not able to, prove or support with any concrete evidence to debunk all of these. And so let's see how all of these will go. But before you take leave of us, I'm sure there are some unanswered questions at the heart of the MIIF audit rewrite controversy, aren't they?
Well, so I haven't seen the audited report, and that is why all of us are asking that the statutory authority should release the report so that all of us can see for ourselves and see if anybody has done bad, if anybody has misappropriated state funds. After the audit report has been released, all of us will join forces to get that person or those persons arrested, prosecuted, and taken through due process. But until we see the report, it cannot be in one person's bosom. And then that person makes a request to try and change it. The request is rejected, and that person still keeps it. So today is the 9th of December. An audit report that was signed off on the 27th of June. We are nearly 6 months after the sign off of the audit report. Why can't that audit report be released to the public? The public demands to know the state of MIIF in 2024. And the chief executive officer nor the board of MIIF cannot prevent the whole country from having access to the audited report of Minerals Income and Investment Fund as of December 2024. They don't have the power to deny all of us, the people of Ghana, from seeing that audit report.
At all.
They do not have the power.
At all.
At all.
Wilberforce.
And so the demand is on.
Yes.
Release the 2024 audited report. The Auditor General says that he's not making any changes to the report. Release it. And let all of us judge for ourselves. If someone has done wrong, if somebody has misappropriated state funds, I will be the first person to champion the effort to get that person arrested, taken through due process, prosecuted, and found guilty and incarcerated. I will be the first to champion that.
So
and that is because one day come, the current chief executive officer,
Yes.
she should just know that she somebody left that seat
Yeah,
before she
her.
came to sit
Yeah.
on it. So one day she will
won't
leave
leave.
that seat for another person to come and sit on it.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
So the hashtag
Good
is the hashtag is release the 2024 audited report.
There be a mekase. Ada end this way for konya no so no. You nipa ni bon mani omunfu ntaba na omuntu nko. Omuntu nyina because sa post we na Ghana crime ye no. Say as at now omuntimi new investigate chi anyi chi nipa ni bi ntumu a. Ene na medi omu ho ya o kakra because multiple quote figures ese even last week 1.5 billion Ghana cedis was transferred. Not that alone. That same moment now no $10 million was also transferred. 80. Why na yenko busa? Let's say as of now, say Ghana crime entimi an carry out this issue. Entimi an take this issue on. Let's omu jai ne tram ane koi. Ema ne slide. Ema Ghana for so an kan wasem de an kan Ghana crime for ho yaw. This post here no. Asemeba ho debi. Post we. Asemeba ho debi. Asemeba ho. A time will come. There will be a day of accountability, and she will come and explain to Ghanaians. The year 1.5 billion new Ghana. It is kind of 10 trillion. Your movie ye under her watch. Oba be children's kind of call hinefa. Now for that $10 million US no. A year then your transfer desk will come out will be under your watch as new CEO. Oba be children watch the Ghana for. Chirawa your mama. I will comment session. I have Penyah break.